Alright guys, so that's the first part, which I'll upload this first part of the motor disassembly. So this will be part one. So pretty much where we're at, we have the motor torn down to what is needed for the next step. So all the timing and everything is all still attached with the dizzy in and everything, so we can set everything to top dead center, get all the timing marks sorted, so when it all gets pulled apart, everything's sort of where it needs to be. So that's just where I'm at with it. So all the parts have been pulled off and I've bagged up all the parts. So got all my parts bagged and tagged. I do that with everything, makes reassembly easier. And yeah, so everything's looking pretty Toyota in here. So nothing terrible, except down in here it's had a water pump let go at some stage, and don't know if it's this pump or not, but the water pump's let go. So new water pump will be going on regardless. So it's had a big water leak there. And I thought this was part of the intake manifold, but it's not, it's part of the head. So if we get right in here, little pinhead hole has blown coolant out of there and made a right mess. Like I said, I don't really know the story of how long this was run for. Like, I bought this car pretty cheap. This is all stuff you'd expect with an old Corolla anyway, but I bought it off a mechanic who said it was perfectly fine. And yeah, so, but that's not a big deal to me at all, not in the slightest. And I did tell the guy I'm not too concerned, as long as the thing runs and drives onto a tow truck and I can drive it into my shed, I'll buy it. So it was cheap, happy with the car. So this was always the intended plan for it. So we'll get stuck into this tomorrow, which will be part two, which will be getting all the head off and getting all the pistons and everything out. So, and marking down what we need to get for this engine. So pretty sure I got a pretty big list already. So when it goes back in, it won't have any intake manifold, exhaust manifold or anything on it. It'll be almost going in as it sits there, but with a rocker cover on the top of it, all painted up and everything. But everything else will get bolted to it when it goes into, here comes a big downpour of rain randomly, but everything else will get bolted onto the motor after it's in the bay. So I'll bring this a little closer, but it'll get bolted together when it's in the bay, because bringing this up through the bottom with the intake manifold is quite a mission to avoid all the firewall and stuff. So if I leave that intake manifold off, I've got the hoist here, so it's easy enough to get to all the bolts underneath the manifold and everything when it's in the air. So that's pretty much the plan for the engine. Get the engine and box back together, get the bottom end built, get the head back on, get it back to a essentially short motor, and get it back in the bay. And then from there, all the detailing of the engine will get done, and a lot of things will start getting put back in to get the car running and driving again. That way then when it's running and driving, I can get it into the spray booth and everything. So a lot of the paint and panel work will start once this motor's back in and running. So up until then, it's going to stay that horrible grandma blue till we get it running and driving, and then it'll start getting worked on to get painted a very nice Nissan white, which is what I chose for it, was the Nissan white. It's a lot fresher than the Toyota white, but yeah, that's another story for later on. Waffling on right now. So that's it for this one. we'll catch you on the next one, which will be pulling down the engine from where you see it. So I'll catch you on the next one. And yeah, that's pretty much for it. So see yous.